Hi guys, my name is Moran. Welcome to my series Getting Personal, where I gather stories from Reddit for our entertainment. And today I've got a fun theme, which is just stories about very embarrassing moments that people lived through. So without further ado, let's dive in. Looks like you can't actually die of embarrassment. Wonderful. That's the title. Keeping it short, I have a Mars mission to sign up for. Throw away for obvious reasons. I was texting with my brother and he said something stupid, so I did the appropriate thing and replied with 2 voice messages, each consisting of a very nasty fart. Hilarious, I know. I went on with my day and was wondering why I didn't receive a reply. Actually, I received no messages at all, which was suspicious because I've been exchanging salacious prose with that very tempting young man. You know where this is going. I went back to check the Messenger app, and to no one's surprise, I did in fact not send my farts to my brother, but to Mr. Sexy. I was left unread. I want to dissolve. I'm not usually a ghost, however, I feel like this situation is what ghosting is actually for. This is absolutely hilarious when you're not this girl. But luckily, we also have an update. Good morning, lovely internet strangers. First of all, thank you for making me laugh when I was about to cry and crawl back into my mother's womb. A special thanks to the person who made me aware that with a slight turn of events, this could have been my brother receiving a very graphic text from me. That's a win. So, I did what many of you suggested and handled this like a grown-up, and it actually went well. I went back and deleted the farts from the chat and sent a message explaining my childish, immature, appalling kind of humor to Mr. Sexy. He replied in the early morning he's on a night shift, and the following was established. 1. Farts are not his love language. 2. Neither are they a kink. 3. Neither does he think, and this I find concerning, that farts are hilarious. To be fair, I don't consider farts hilarious as well, so I get him. 4. They are though. 5. We are back on sexy terms, but he prefers to receive no further farts in the future. You're funny, I like you. Anyway, I'm still mortified and this story will never be shared with anyone in person. Also, sorry to disappoint some of you, Fart Girl will not marry Mr. Sexy. We're just having fun, we live in different cities and neither of us is a long distance kind of person. Thanks again for making me laugh in the face of social demise. This could have been a very beautiful start of a story of how I met my soulmate, but unfortunately, yeah, this is just a mishap. Fartcident. I really do like your sense of humor, and also it makes me sad that you will not share this story in real life. Like, I swear to gods, I would probably share this story with all of my friends because it is hilarious. Like, I think stories like these, while terrible to live through, are the best entertainment you can imagine. It's awesome. Like, it's awesome when you're doing something completely stupid and then you find it in your heart to laugh at that. So don't be ashamed of things that are especially accidental. Like, it happened, so what? Embarrassing. It's fine. Anyway, let's move on to the different story, which is from relationship advice. I, 26 male, literally the shit out of my 25 female girlfriend and now she is ghosting me. Trigger warning, poop. I am just gonna go straight into it. I and my girlfriend were having pretty hard / fast intimacy. I didn't notice anything until she suddenly told me to stop. I instantly backed away and between us was, let's call it a surprise guest. It wasn't very large, more like a human-sized rabbit poop. What is a human-sized rabbit poop? How is this a comparison that came to your mind? But anyway, I'm just getting sidetracked. We just kind of sat there stunned in silence for a moment. I imagined she was embarrassed, so I just quickly said, "It's okay, it happens." As I grabbed some tissues and she then just wrapped up in another sheet and said quietly, "I know," before running to the bathroom. The thing is, she's my first sexual experience, so I, in fact, actually don't know if this happened happen. Usually doesn't, but it's okay. She, on the other hand, has had a decent few partners in the past, so she would actually know if this in fact happens. Is this something I should start to expect to happen more? Hopefully not. Don't get scarred for life, please. I cleaned up the mess and she went home, and now she won't answer my calls or texts because I think she's embarrassed about it. How do I reassure her that everything is okay and she doesn't have to be embarrassed? I mean, I would just honestly talk to her. Like, there's nothing you can really do to save her from embarrassment apart from saying that, look, it happened. Let's just move on from that. Like, I don't find you disgusting. This didn't affect how I see you. We can just forget it happened and maybe laugh about it sometime afterwards. Poor girl. I would perish on the spot if that happened to me. Anyway, there is an update. My post exploded. Christ. Thank you everyone for the laughs, the advice, and the shared stories, and rest in peace my inbox. I did what majority said. I went to her house yesterday and acted like it was any other date night. She was squirmy at first, but once she saw I wasn't going to bring it up, she eventually relaxed. By the end of the night, when I went to leave, she stopped me and said, "I'm sorry." Now, this was a ballsy move on my part, but I went for it since I know her humor, and now that everything seemed fine, I said, "It's alright, it happens." She just screeched and playfully slapped me and said, "Oh my god, you're an idiot." I think it really diffused any leftover tension and showed her we can laugh about it, so thank you that one user in the top upvoted comments for the idea. I did follow up though with, "But I was wondering, does this happen? I didn't expect you to say, I know, but if it does, it's okay." She explained to me that was a big part of the embarrassment too, because she didn't know what to say in that moment. It was just an awkward exchange, like when a waiter says, "Enjoy your food," and you respond, "You too." But everything is back to normal between us. Thank you everyone again. Well, all's well that ends well. I'm really happy that you moved past it, and it seems like a really hilarious story to laugh about like many years into the future. I would be mortified as well. I don't know if I could look my husband in the eye after something like this for a very long time. Good job on diffusing the tension. Let's move to the next story. Today I f***ed up by throwing up in the middle of sex on a first date. Obligatory, this happened last night. So I, 30 male, met a girl, 26 female, through an online dating app, and we had our first date at a local brewery last night. Needless to say, the date went fantastically, and she invited me over to her place afterwards. We get to her apartment and start getting down to business. Everything was going amazingly. We were feeling good, having a great time, but about 10-15 minutes in, I had a terrible urge to throw up. I didn't know what to do. I obviously don't want to throw up on her or her bed, but how can I get to the bathroom while I'm in the middle of railing you? I told her that I needed a quick water break, and she was like, "Yeah, of course." She went to go get us water while I snuck into the bathroom and threw up. It was very noticeably loud. I was super embarrassed. This has literally never happened to me while hooking up with someone before. I was mortified to leave the bathroom. I eventually did, and she was waiting for me in the bedroom, and she asked, "Did you just throw up?" Yes, I did. We ended up having a good laugh about it, and she got me a snack and shared other embarrassing sex stories that she had. We didn't have sex again that night, but I stayed over, and then we got breakfast in the morning. Somehow she still wants to see me again. She did say to me, "You know that I have to tell all my girlfriends about this, right?" So now I have to live with the fact that when I meet her friends, they are all going to know this about me. This is both embarrassing and cute because I'm really happy with the stories when something really embarrassing happens, and then both people, or like all the people involved, can laugh about it and be honest about it and be like grown up instead of just being weird. This is better than I expected from the title because I didn't read it in full, but I knew from the title it's gonna be hella embarrassing. I thought he threw up like on her. At least you made it to the bathroom. It could have been so much worse. But anyway, I hope y'all are gonna have some fun times together, and I like her. She's pretty cool. She seems cool. I love when people are chill about things like that. And there is an edit. Wow, I'm happy this post ended up so positive. To clarify, I got nauseous from a mix of a few things. Not eating before the date, yes, bad move, and then also not eating during the date. We actually wanted to get food at one point, but the kitchen closed. Plus some beer, weed, and anxiety. Will not be making this mistake again. Oof, that is a hard combination. Not eating, beer, weed, and anxiety, and then you shake all of that during sex? Yikes. I would probably also throw up. I'm so sorry you had to experience that. Let's move on. Today, I fucked up by sitting through my friend's orgy. So yesterday, my friends, 2 couples plus 1 single guy, and I went to brunch to go day drinking, and we ended up drinking a lot. It was all you can drink mimosas brought out with a big bottle of champagne and orange juice / cranberry juice, and they really stayed on top of bringing more out. As a group, we typically do drink a lot when we go out on weekends, but not so early in the day. Or at least if we do start early, it's way more paced, not against the clock of when brunch ends. We did also eat brunch, but still it was a crazy amount of drinking in a short amount of time. We ended up back at my friend's place, who was way more drunk than I usually see him, like on the verge of falling asleep, and he was laying down on the couch. I honestly can't remember what started everything off. I think it might have just been relatively normal, where my friend and his girlfriend started kissing and the other couple was kissing, although as couples they've both never been big on public displays, at least in front of me. The other girl has always been fairly open. I've heard stories of her getting naked in front of the group, etc. before. Eventually the 2 girls kissed, and then my friend / his girlfriend were making out hot and heavy, and he was feeling her up. The other girl was kissing her boyfriend while the single guy was fingering her, which led to him eating her out. Anyway, without going into too many more details, my up was that I had drank too much to just leave to drive home, and my car was there, so I couldn't really Uber home and just leave my car without it being a huge ordeal, and I didn't know what else to do but watch. At one point, the other girl even encouraged me to jump in, but I declined, saying my own girlfriend wasn't there to say it was okay or join in herself. We were supposed to go to the pool to continue partying, so part of me was hoping this would all end and we'd move on to the pool like nothing happened. But I was just kind of shocked at it all and was watching it all go down, drunk in awe, at certain points going on my phone. And the way my friend's house is, there was nowhere else to really go that guests would go, so I couldn't like go to a different room and watch TV. I kind of feel weird about it now, like I was a creep in the room or something, even though I waited as long as I thought I needed to and there was nothing else for me to do, like just walk around randomly outside drunk, to finally safely leave and drive home. Oh no, I would have probably pretended to be asleep or something, or just go to the bathroom and lock myself in there, because this is awkward as fuck, and it's not necessarily embarrassing, but I would be super uncomfortable in that situation. I would feel probably embarrassed because like you have no plans of joining in and you cannot leave, so you're just sort of stuck in this weird situation where you have to watch your friends have sex when you don't want to do that, when you didn't sign up for it. You just wanted to have a brunch and party at the pool, and instead you ended up watching a bunch of people having drunk sex. Like, that's upsetting. Anyway, before we move on, I want to read you the top comment because it's hilarious. I've watched enough amateur orgy porn to know that there's always some random dude standing around in the background. You're good. Today I f***ed up trying to spoil my wife. Same trigger warning, poop. This actually happened yesterday, but we're both still trying to recover from the experience. My wife, 27 female, and I, 33 male, got married recently and decided to honeymoon on one of the Greek isles. It's all been going swimmingly for the first couple of days until night 3. I decided that we should venture out of the holiday resort where we are staying and go find somewhere new to to eat and explore the local town a little more. This is something we do often whenever we go away. We came across a restaurant which looked incredible, and even better views with it being right on the beach. It was a little pricey, not out of our budget, but at least triple what we'd normally pay based off the area. I told my wife to ignore the cost, it's my treat. The food was good, and the expensive bottle of wine that cost almost as much as the food was sublime. After our meal, we chose to sit out on the beanbags on the beach belonging to the restaurant and enjoy some cocktails in the night sky before we venture back to our hotel. The setting was stunning, candles all over the beach, and they even had lights in the water. So romantic, and both of us having a wonderful time. Nothing could prepare us for what's to come. We set off to walk back to our hotel, and about halfway back I start to feel unwell. Now we both suffer from IBS, so just thought something had triggered me. It just gets worse. We were about 5 minutes from our hotel, and I'm walking like John Wayne, sweating profusely, holding it in and grunting from the pain. My wife, bless her, albeit laughing, was being very supportive. Even said if I needed to go in a bush, I could. I opted against that as we were close to the hotel. We got back to our room, and I stripped fully naked from my now damp clothes and headed straight for the bathroom. To say I unleashed hell from above and below would be an understatement. Cue knock at the door. It's my wife, and she tells me to get out. Turns out whatever made me so sick had come from her vegetarian meal. For the rest of the night, we'd take it in turns hopping on the toilet like musical chairs. We barely slept last night, and it was rough. Here comes my next up. The next morning, we were getting ready to get out. Through my learned behavior, whenever I got to fart, I let it rip. My wife and I are good with potty humor, so I feel a fart brewing, and before I could stop myself, I pooped the bed. I shit the freaking bed on our honeymoon. My wife howled with laughter as I went to get in the shower to wash off my shame. It doesn't end there. My wife heads to the reception to ask if we can have our bedding changed and heads out to get us both some medication. I'm just about dressed when I heard a knock at the door. It was the cleaners, and they just let themselves in. With the language barrier, I try to convey as much as possible to hold on, I'm just about to leave. I scoot out of the room as quick as possible before they notice my shame all over the bed. Whilst we mostly recovered now, my shame will live on. This is generally like super embarrassing, but I also feel really bad for the hotel staff. Like, I understand that it's their job to clean, but I feel like if I shit the bed in the hotel, I would at least get all of the bedding off and like wrap it so that they don't have to handle it. Like, why would you just leave it there? Anyway, there's also an update. We have both survived. Still some minor symptoms, but almost at the end of the tunnel, unlike our poop. Just want to say thanks to everyone for your kind words. My wife is a hero, and have no doubt it's going to be a long, happy marriage filled with farts and poop-related incidents. A few people have said it couldn't be the meal we just had, as it was too soon for food poisoning. Bear in mind, symptoms such as cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting can show as soon as 30 minutes. That is true. As a person who spent a couple of years in China having a very, very bad digestive system and a very sensitive one, and having spent a lot of time around other Europeans there, I can tell you that you can get sick as fast as like 20 to 30 minutes after eating something that will give you poisoning. And whether it was the food or the ice in our drinks, I couldn't say. Either way, whatever it was, it turned our buttholes into temporary shit fountains. Glad to have entertained mind. PS, we are 100% leaving a hefty tip for the cleaners. The top comment on here is also hilarious. The short of a beautiful marriage. And I couldn't agree more. Like, if you can go through that on your honeymoon, you can go through a lot together. And this is, you know, a bonding experience. So, next story is today I f***ed up by refusing a girl's invite to make fudge with her. This was last December in my graduate program. I, 23 male, had become pretty good friends with a woman in the same program. We'll call her Laura. We studied together, always enjoyed poking fun at the more obnoxious students in our classes, plus she was super pretty. A few weeks before the end of the fall semester, Laura asked me if I had any plans over the weekend and whether I wanted to come by her place to make fudge. I, of course, assumed this was innuendo for sexy times of the backdoor variety, and I'm not really into that. Why would you assume that? Oh my god. And I was pretty nervous to boot, so I told her I'd be busy playing the new Nintendo game. It was a lame excuse and she looked very disappointed. The following weekend was the department student Christmas party. That's where I realized my mistake. Everyone was saying things like, "Have you tried Laura's fudge?" And "That's some dope fudge, Laura." It turns out she really had just wanted me to help her make fudge, and she was damn good at it. Maybe you would have also gotten some after making fudge, but it still baffles me as to why you thought this was a backdoor variety sexy times action type of thing. But okay, pretty embarrassing for you. Missed a good opportunity to make some fudge. This could have been so much worse if she knew what he assumed about the invitation. But anyway, I've got one last story for you, and this one is today I f***ed up the builder, so my tits today. Guess we're building more than just a deck. The construction of our new deck started this week. There is a bunch of scaffolding out there. This morning I was getting dressed in my second story bedroom. I was topless facing the window. The builders had arrived 5 minutes ago and the noise had begun. I knew they were there. I knew there was scaffolding. Suddenly, half a head popped up with eyes that widened at the exact moment that mine did. I hit the floor behind the bed in a graceless boob-clutching dive, saying, "Oh shit," and proceeded to finish getting dressed on the floor. I was 95% sure he had seen me, but held out hope. A couple of minutes later, he walked into the house looking sheepish. I say brightly, "Sorry if you had to see my boobs, because I'm awesome at not being awkward." He says, "Yeah, sorry about that." Then we both just stand there nervously laughing for a minute. These guys will be working at my house for at least the next couple of weeks. Now, every time that guy comes in the house, we both smirk and avoid eye contact. This sounds like a start of a very quirky and cute rom-com. It's kind of embarrassing that you will have to see this person for however long it takes to finish your house. But I also love the reaction. "Sorry if you had to see my boobs." Out of all the things you could have said, this is probably the best one. Not the greatest moment, but again, a very fun party story, and I feel like you might have brightened his day a little bit, you know, if he's into that kind of stuff. Boobs, I mean. But anyway, let's just wrap this episode here. I kind of want to share some embarrassing story with you, but I've had so many of them that I kind of can't come up with one on the spot. Like, there are so many stupid things that happened to me. But anyway, I keep forgetting that it's just me talking to myself over the camera, so whatever, never mind. I will be going. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, though I doubt it, I will see you with another video next week. Bye.